Are West Ham about to make a double raid on a Nottingham Forest couple of superstars? Now, what we are about to discuss, I can get completely behind, 100% behind, because I can see the vision. I can see the style of play. I can see what potentially they could bring to a West Ham side. Now, we're all aware about the Nottingham Forest situation. They've been deducted 4 points from the Premier League, which has not helped their situation due to FFP rules. And apparently, their case isn't closed. I mean, they're going to challenge the situation, but this could also affect them for next year. They've been on a spending spree for a couple of seasons. They've been spending well over the odds, and it looked like this can continue for potentially into next season. But to make matters worse, they have been deducted points and they could genuinely face relegation this season. Should all of that happen, West Ham could look to make a double raid on two of their players. They don't actually necessarily need to get relegated for West Ham to look at the two players I'm going to discuss to you, but they genuinely could. West Ham could make a raid on these two particular players. But these two particular players, it's not a dead set that they will come to West Ham, because I guarantee you there'll be several clubs, not just in the Premier League, but from all over Europe, being interested in these two players. The two players I'm talking to you about now are Morgan Gibbs-White and Taiwo Awonyi. Now, if you don't know already, Awonyi, big, strong striker who's already scored a couple of goals against West Ham this season. And of course, we've seen how much he causes defenses problems in the Premier League. He's with Nottingham Forest until 2027, but Nottingham Forest are finding themselves in a situation where they're going to have to sell players on. And he is, like I said, 26 years old, big central forward, Nigerian international, 7 games for the international side, 2 goals for them as well. But in particular, what's interesting about this player is that he is a little bit or very similar to the style of player that Antonio is. Now, in his 50 appearances for Nottingham Forest, he scored 17 goals and got 4 assists as well. That is, of course, in 2 seasons since joining Nottingham Forest, 16 goals in the Premier League, 10 last season, 6 this season, 3 assists to add to his goal tallies this season as well, goal contributions. So he's involved in 9 goals in 17 games in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest, a team that are struggling at the wrong end of the league. 10 goals last year in the Premier League in his debut season in the Premier League. He looks like he's genuinely a fantastic option for West Ham. I remember when we first saw him against us last year, and I thought he is going to cause us mayhem. He looks like the kind of Antonio 3, 4, 5.0 central forward, proper central forward player. Obviously, got a strong history. Played at FSV Frankfurt, Ghent, Union Berlin, and usually everywhere he's played, including Union Berlin, 65 appearances, 25 goals, 9 assists in his time there. Ghent scoring 3 goals in 22 appearances. But he's played in the Bundesliga. He's played in the Belgium league, top league as well, and obviously now in the Premier League. And he looks like he's easily capable of stepping up to the plate. What I like about Awonyi is that he is your kind of advanced target man. He's got the kind of traits of a target man, but of an advanced forward. And he's really coming into his own in this role in a productive season. Very good at hold-up play, very good at being aware around his surroundings, strong and clever, very, very clever on the ball. I think he is a potential quality signing for West Ham. I'm quite excited about this link. He is one that I think West Ham should push the boat out for. And if West Ham do and are looking at sorting out the squad and looking at bringing in players, you could probably bring someone like Awonyi in for well below 50 million quid. And we're being quoted a lot more for other players on the transfer market. and he has the Premier League experience. So then you weigh that up against looking for the Europe's best talent. Then you've got someone who you probably could bring in for a reasonable fee in the Premier League, reasonable in terms of modern day money, compared to looking at a £20 million striker from abroad who may and may not hit the ground running. Like 6'1", strong on the ball, and very capable for scoring a lot of goals. What kind of player is he? Right? What kind of player is he? He's really strong like Antonio, but another thing is he's very intelligent in his game of football. He's a well-rounded striker. He works the flanks. He does all the hard work for the team, but he's a very imposing, quick player as well for his size. And he does cover a lot of ground. Of course, that is a very good attribute for what David Moyes looks for. But in actual fact, I think that's an attribute that any manager moving forward would look for. So for me, trying to bring in and counter the situation of what's happened with Nottingham Forest and bring a player of Awonyi's quality in, I think that's the kind of backing I could get behind with regards to that. The next player, though, to talk to you about is this player, Morgan Gibbs-White, 24 years old, born in the United Kingdom, homegrown talent he would be. So he would tick a massive, massive box. Of course, he's been linked to many other clubs, and lots of people are saying he's a Ange Postecoglou type player. And he may be an Ange Postecoglou type player, but they have many players in that position that I don't know if he is going to come in and fit into that mold, especially for the money that they're looking for. But West Ham could generate some form of money here, especially, for example, if we got rid of Paquetá. Not that I'm saying I want rid of Paquetá. Of course I don't want fucking rid of Paquetá. But if we were to keep Paquetá, or sell Paquetá, sorry, we generate a really good amount of money, and that money we generate could bring in these two quality players. So a striker and a player like Gibbs-White, the attacking midfielder, the player that likes to get involved, and we all know how capable he is because he has played against West Ham a lot and done really well against West Ham a lot. Of course, we've known him from his days at Sheffield United, 37 appearances, 12 goals, 10 assists. At Wolves, 88 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist, but wasn't really playing that well, never got on that well with Nuno Espirito Santos, of course, who is now the manager at Nottingham Forest, but wasn't really utilised in his relevant position. He's got 9 goals and 13 assists in his Nottingham Forest career, but he really is a problem through the middle of the park. Someone that can penetrate a pass, someone can break the lines through the defences as well. Pacey, clever on the ball, and just your kind of potential Paquetá replacement. Premier League experience, which I think is really vital. I really do think it's vital for West Ham to try and progress. We need someone to hit the ground running, especially if we are depending on what happens in the summer. So West Ham supposedly eyeing a double deal to bolster our attack and taking advantage of Nottingham Forest financial worries that they've got, especially if they were to be relegated. What do you think, though, of these two players, Awonyi and Gibbs-White? For me, I can get behind these two players. I can get behind the signings, potentially, of bringing these two players into the club. These would excite me, definitely. And to be honest with you, with all due respect to Nottingham Forest, I can see these two players leaving no matter what. But West Ham, it's not a dead cert that we can bring in the quality of these players because there's going to be a lot of talent around there. Nottingham Forest want to generate as much income as they possibly can. It's not, it's hard to find a striker who scores goals, and Nottingham Forest will know that, and they'll be able to play up on the money. And if West Ham do sell Paquetá, for example, for £85 million, and we want to do a replacement, they'll be pushing the boundaries for Gibbs-White because the money inflation has got ridiculous in the Premier League. So what do you think? Put it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Gibbs-White, Awonyi from Nottingham Forest, the two players you'd like to see us come to West Ham in the summer? Come on,